Salve de omnes. Hello everyone. So, who should have been the next Black Panther? Today, I'll be discussing what I believe to be the biggest mistake made in the production of Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, which is who becomes the Black Panther. Obviously, Marvel was left in a precarious position after the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, and had to deal with finding a new lead that would be as charismatic and iconic as the late actor. Clearly no easy task. I already criticized the current state of Marvel Phase 4's direction with She-Hulk, so ending on a strong note is imperative to their future plans. Let's take a look at some of their options. Spoilers ahead, obviously. One of the greatest warriors in Wakanda. Surely Okoye is worthy of becoming the Black Panther, right? She fits this strong female archetype to the max and has the physical presence to do the Black Panther justice. Danai Gurira also brings with her a loyal fan base from her days on The Walking Dead, something that a studio should consider when trying to make a blockbuster hit. Looking back at the character's actions in the first movie, her near black and white thinking regarding loyalty to the throne is pretty concerning. Sure, she eventually turned on Killmonger, but how well would she learn to navigate the gray outside world as a hero to more than just her own people? Tech genius are the first words that come to mind when I think of this character. Like Q to 007, she's mostly been the cool tech designer to Black Panther, except they're now introducing Riri Williams. To be honest, Riri and Shuri were pretty much the same character in the film. I was glad that she had matured from the first film. I did not like her in Black Panther 1 with the "what are those" joke at all. And to me, the Black Panther needs to have a certain royal dignity that comes with shouldering the fate of an entire nation on your shoulders. Processing her grief and rising to the occasion provided a nice character arc for her, but she remained reluctant to engage with tradition. From flipping her brother off to being tired of waiting around at the waterfall ritual fight, Shuri has shown a pattern of scoffing at tradition. I'm stating the obvious, but the actress also lacks the physical presence one would expect from a competent fighter. Combined with this, Letitia Wright also doesn't quite have the same level of star power with general audiences as some of the others on this list. As a woman of science, would she be able to uphold their religious traditions? Probably the best brawler in all of Wakanda, no one can doubt his fighting abilities. M'Baku has also shown himself to be a leader for the people, always accepting in other tribes that are in danger as shown in both movies. He also is the first to point out that killing Namor would lead to generations of war, since its people view him as a god. Clearly M'Baku is not just bronze in a grass skirt. There are a few issues, however, with M'Baku taking up the mantle that relate to both the character's past and his beliefs. M'Baku actually comes from the Jabari tribe, where they worship the white gorilla god, so I'm not sure how he would feel about having to believe or thank the panther god Bast for his powers. He even questioned Bast's support for T'Challa during the ritual combat in the first movie, saying, "Where is your god now?" Even at the very beginning of the first movie, the Jabari tribe set itself apart from the rest of the Wakandans by isolating itself in the mountains, and has been that way for centuries. Sure, M'Baku did join the fray at the end of the first movie, but he wasn't exactly all on board with ousting Killmonger when he won the throne fair and square in ritual combat. At the end of Black Panther 2, he takes up the role of king, which is what he wanted at the beginning of the first movie. In King T'Chaka's own words,
"It is hard for a good man to be king."
How hard would it be for one to be Black Panther? Sure, he died in the first movie, but hear me out. There are multiple ways to bring him back. Just look at Gamora. Truly, the multiverse is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. We are in the multiverse saga after all. In my opinion, he would have been the best male choice for Black Panther due to his star power alone. The actor's time in the MCU was cut way too short for how well liked he was by the audience, and Marvel really could have built a future with the character going forward, since he was T'Challa's foil. Clearly, the actor has an excellent physique for the role from his Creed training, and would have knocked the stunts out of the park like in the first movie. There are a few cons with going in this direction, though. The version of Killmonger from this universe looked 100% dead, like dead, not snapped. So if they didn't want to use the multiverse, they would have had to do a whole lot of retconning. There's also the issue of Killmonger's past, since he's probably on a few governmental watch lists. How would the Wakandans feel about having another Killmonger running around? Softer than a lot of the other female characters presented, but not in a bad way. Nakia acted very motherly, or like an older sister to Shuri in the first movie, and in the second she's traded most of her fighting for caring for others. Nakia was also one of the few Wakandans that wanted to share what they had with the outside world, and believes that it is possible to help others while protecting itself. The Black Panther should definitely possess a desire to protect and serve. That same desire to protect and serve might mean that she lacks the ferocity required at times by the Black Panther. She's more a spy than a fighter, and now has a son to care for. If we ignore these new developments and take her character from the end of the first movie, would becoming the Black Panther allow her to further her community outreach goals? So now to my choice. Or should I say choices, because I think Marvel could have handled it this way. Killmonger from a different destroyed universe where he's Black Panther should have been introduced as a mentor to Shuri, who would become the Black Panther in this movie. Killmonger could then leave Wakanda at the end of the film to continue the outreach mission of the in-universe Killmonger, just in a more humane way, while Shuri remains as the true Black Panther of Wakanda. A precedent has been set for Shuri becoming Black Panther in the comics, and I liked how she was able to bring the herb back from extinction with science, and how her love of science conflicted with the spiritual aspects of the Black Panther. Although I am questioning how there weren't any fish people side effects. Killmonger in this storyline could then learn all about his alternate universe self and the mistakes he made while helping Shuri deal with her anger. The second movie made a big deal of how many similarities Shuri shared with Killmonger, since he's the one she saw on the ancestral plane, so why not just have a version of him there, but with T'Challa's morals and ideals to really get her to question what she's doing. At the end of the first movie, T'Challa actually disagrees with how his ancestors treated Killmonger, and opens the first outreach center in Killmonger's own neighborhood, so it would have been nice to see a continuation of the Black Panther learning a lesson from a former enemy. At the end of this second movie, I really can't say what Shuri learned other than revenge bad. So those are basically my thoughts on who they should have chosen. I like Shuri way more in this movie than the previous one, and was glad they gave her some much needed character development, although they still had a ways to go to make the leap to Black Panther believable and earned in my humble opinion. Clearly Marvel's setting up T'Challa's son to eventually take up the mantle, and probably Throne as well, but in the interim we'll see what their plans are with Shuri and M'Baku. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if not, thanks for watching anyway. Let me know if you have a movie or topic you want me to discuss. Pero here, wishing you sweet dreams. Until next time. So, maybe it's just me, but every time I see a Marvel movie after the events of WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, the only thing I can think about is how Wanda could literally stop the conflict in 5 seconds. I mean, come on. We know she's not dead. Plus, doesn't Shuri still have a digital copy of Vision on a USB stick somewhere? When are we getting that story? She must just be on Mountain Retreat number 2. Shopping for a vacation home is just so much easier when you can will it into existence. What water, Namor? What little wings on your ankles? What oxygen?